TitleMatchNetwork.com.
You left for NWA?
69.
69? And you didn't bring Larry with you.
No.
He didn't. He wanted to stay and work gas.
Larry, had not I have left there, I probably would never went on to do what I did. Had Larry have been the type of person that would like to travel and get away. Remember that I was telling you about the Australia trip?
Right.
Went there for 3 months. He lasted 4 weeks and came back. If Larry had been the type of person that could have been went away like that and stayed away, him and I had probably never split up.
Right.
In the 4.5 years that we were together, we never had one crossword.
So you guys were doing a lot of tag team wrestling. It was not
Yes.
singles. And then was it hard going over to the NWA and becoming a single wrestler? Was it hard to adjust?
No, I started as a single, and I'd never been. Well, one time before that in Tennessee in the real early 60s, I was teamed up with John Long. And John and I made a good team also.
Were you? Well, I guess you weren't nervous about going singles, but how did you wind up in the NWA? As far as how did that come about?
Well, the NWA was headquartered out of St. Louis.
Right.
And had been since early 1900s. So when I came back home to Kansas City, or St. Joe, when I first came back, St. Joe, St. Louis, that whole area kind of worked together, and it was NWA. And from there until Vince in the late 80s, I stayed in NWA.
Right. Who were some of the guys that you liked working with the best over there?
In the NWA?
Yeah, in the 70s.
Either one of the Funks, Jack Brisco, Backlund was there at that point in time. There was just a whole bunch of great guys around then. Pat O'Connor, Sonny Myers, Omar Atlas, Rufus R. Jones, Danny Little Bear, Bulldog Bob Brown. There were just a whole bunch of people around that most of them were in good enough shape to put in time in the ring, and it was really a lot of fun. If the only thing you've ever done is wrestle, and you finally hit that epitome of what you set out to do, there is no better feeling.
Right.
The match itself probably wasn't one of our better ones in the overall scheme of things, but it was, the greatest feelings you could ever have being, doing what you're doing.
You retired the old NWA belt and lost a new one on the same night, right, with Jack Brisco?
45 minutes later.
Right. How did that come about? What was that like?
Well, again, if there's a low, that's where the low came
right.
in. Sam Mushnick came into the old Sam Houston Arena that night with the brand new belt, and I was the last champion to hold the belt that had been around since early 30s. And handing him that belt and taking that Mickey Mouse thing that they'd come up with, and especially then had a velvet backing, which wouldn't last and didn't last until I lost it to Brisco. I had to have the thing taken apart and the metal parts of it put back on leather.
Right.
But it's part of the business.
TitleMatchNetwork.com